everyone. My name is Chloe, and today I'm here to do the mid-year book freakout tag. So I've done this every year. I love this tag as a way of like checking in with the first half of the year and how your reading has gone. And doing this, I'm kind of realizing like it's been kind of a rough first half of the year. Like, I don't know. Let's get into the questions. So this is going around everywhere. You guys have probably seen it a million times, but let's get into it and give you my answer. So question number 1, best book you've read so far in 2023. So like I was looking through my spreadsheet because you guys, I keep a spreadsheet. I have for the past 3 years. You guys convinced me to do it. And I don't know. So nonfiction, I would say, I didn't want to say something that I'm going to say in a later question. So I'm going to say Atomic Habits by James Clear. That one is kind of cliche. I feel like a lot of people really love that. It definitely just changes the way I think about my habits and allows me to give myself a little bit of grace to be just a little tiny bit better every day. And I really feel like that's an important message for all of us, is that you don't have to solve the world's problems. Just be a little bit better every day. Another one that I really loved, my favorite graphic novel so far, was Smaller Sister by Maggie Edkins Willis. And this is a really like heartbreaking story about a girl who starts struggling with an eating disorder. There's a lot of change going on in life. She starts struggling with an eating disorder, and it's told from the perspective of her little sister. And her little sister starts to question her own body and kind of how things go. And it's like heartbreaking, but so good. And I would highly recommend if you have if you're in the middle grade world and like graphic novels, check it out. And then one more, just because I have to throw in like a general fiction, I would say Maternity Leave by Julie Halpern, just because this one caught me really off guard. This one could be best surprise, because it's like I got it at the library in really rough condition. By the way, I'm filming up in my bedroom, which is the middle of like, it is just a mess because my parents are here because it was my dad's birthday, my daughter's birthday, Father's Day, all that is going on right now. And so I'm just sneaking away for a minute, but so I don't have the book with me. But Maternity Leave is definitely that like classic mom-com that I really like. So there we go. It's not the best book I've ever read by any means, but it was entertaining. And it's about a woman on maternity leave, as you might guess. And she's kind of like struggling because she is bonded more with her dog than her baby. And she, throughout the 12 weeks or whatever of maternity leave, which I'm not going to get on the soapbox of why she only gets 12 weeks, but throughout that, she kind of learns what it means to be a mom. She definitely talks through some postpartum depression and stuff, but there's also a lot of comedy, and so, yeah, I enjoyed it. Best sequel you've read so far in 2023. So I'm not a huge fan of series, except with my kids. We get in series and we binge them, and so The Adventures of Sophie Mouse has been my favorite so far. That's by Poppy Green, and number 20, the most recently published one, is my favorite so far. It is called Under the Weather, and the reason it's my favorite is because we read it as this situation was playing out in our house. So Sophie's little brother gets sick, and Sophie is really jealous of the attention that he's getting and kind of wishes it were her, and then she gets it and she realizes, hey, that's actually not so much fun. And so that situation happened in my family, and it was just these books are like, they ooze charm and also like relatability as well as good talking points for this younger middle grade range. So The Adventures of Sophie Mouse, can't recommend it enough. Next is new release you haven't yet read yet but want to. Well, I could give you 1.5 million because there's a ton, but I'm going to say Happy Place by Emily Henry, and it's really ironic that I'm saying that because I have heard nothing but good things until today. Like today, so I filled out these questions at like 5 this morning when I got up, and then I always go work out and I watch YouTube while I work out, and you guys, I've heard 2 people that I really trust and have like similar taste to say that they did not like this book. So, but I'm still sticking to it because it sounds like I love Emily Henry. Well, I like Emily Henry. I loved People We Meet on Vacation. Book Lovers was okay. And so this one is about a couple who has broken up and they have not told any of their friends. And so now I think there's like a summer house that they always go to, and it's about to get sold or something. So they all go together to this summer house, and they don't tell their friends that they have broken up. And so they kind of fake date each other. And I think you get like then and now timelines. I've heard it's very similar to People You Meet on Vacation, as like you get to see how they kind of fell in love and then what happened that tore them apart. And it sounds like something I'm going to love. I'm still really excited. Next is most anticipated release for the second half of the year. Again, I do monthly anticipated releases because I'm excited about everything all the time. So I will link my playlist down below of anticipated releases, and I just did July. So you may or may not have seen that. So there's a ton. I could tell you a ton. But I'm going to say Hello Stranger by Catherine Sinner. That one comes out in July. And the reason I'm super duper excited for it is because I get to meet Catherine Sinner here next weekend. Like, she is coming to a local library, and I am freaking out. So I get to meet her. I mean, maybe it's like, I don't know if it's even a signing or if she's just talking or what, but me and my daughter are gonna go, and because I don't have any in real life bookish friends near me that want to go. Like, what is wrong with people? But so we're gonna go. So Hello Stranger is about a woman who is in some sort of accident and then wakes up and has face blindness, and so she doesn't recognize anybody, and that's all I really need to know. I do love Catherine Sinner, and I'm so excited, and so that is the one I'm most excited to read. I've got a week to read it, and I'm going to because I have it on NetGalley, so it's awesome. Next is Biggest Disappointment, and I'm going to say Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine by Gail Honeyman. This is a case of you guys knowing my taste better than I know my own taste, and so Eleanor Oliphant is about a woman named Eleanor Oliphant who is just quirky. She's different. Like, there's some discussion about her potentially being on the autism spectrum or whatever, but we just follow her throughout her life and like what she's doing. And I've realized I really don't like those super slow books about, like, I like it when they're young and funny and like kind of relatable to what I've experienced, maybe. I don't know. I'm like in this mind warp of I cannot figure out why. Like, I did not love A Man Called Ova. I did not like Major Pettigrew's Last Stand. I did not like Eleanor Oliphant. And so, like, these are books with like older, like middle-aged or older characters, and they're slow and stuff. Why do I like really not like those? And yet I do like shopaholic, which, you know, is not at all like how I am or my personality, but like I've been through that stage of life. So is that what it is? Like, why do I not mind if it's young people? I don't know. So, but that was a disappointment because I heard so much hype about it years ago. I've had it on my shelf for years, and I finally read it and DNF'd it. Biggest surprise. So I could have said Maternity Leave by Julie Halpern, but I'm going to say The Party by Robin Harding. So I've heard a lot of like really not great things about Robin Harding, and I think this even has pretty low ratings on Goodreads. But I really enjoyed it. It is about a teenage party where something goes really wrong, and you get to see the teenagers' perspectives as well as the parents' perspective and all the dynamics around this accident. And it's domestic drama at its finest. I don't know. I really enjoyed it. Next is favorite new author, debut or new to you. So I could say a ton. So me and my kids, well, I've discovered Louis Giglio this year because of a devotional that I did with my kids called How Great Is Our God? And there's 3 in that series. Love them all. Then I read a couple of his books in like for myself, like Don't Give the Enemy a Seat at Your Table. He is a Christian speaker who writes Christian nonfiction, and I love him. Like he is good friends with Andy Stanley, which is another one of my favorites. And like, because I was reading the first one and I was like, gosh, this sounds like Andy Stanley, and they've got a very similar conversational tone to addressing religious and spiritual things that are rooted in scripture, and I just love him. So he's one that's new to me. Courtney Walsh, I have read one from her that I really liked and one that I didn't, but she's one that I've really been wanting to try, and I finally tried her this year. Robin Harding, like I said, that was my first time with her and I liked it fine. Virginia Soul Smith, she writes a lot about body positivity, specifically in children. Wendy Markham, she is one that that is actually a pen name. I can't remember what her actual name is, but she writes early 2000s kind of chick lit women's fiction that I've been enjoying this year. I've never read her, and I think the series that I'm reading is the only series she's written under that name. I don't really know, but so all of those, I guess. Number 8 is Newest Fictional Crush, and that's just like not really a thing for me. I don't know. I don't know. It's just not really a thing for me. But if I had to pick, I would say Buckley from the slightly series by Wendy Markham that I was just talking about, I'm reading these through physically, and so they're taking me more time, but I feel like I'm really getting to know these characters because I'm spending more time with them. And Buckley is a guy who, in the very first book, our main character meets him, and she thinks he's gay because she is introduced through her gay friend, and so she just like is unabashedly herself, and he is just so accepting and caring for her, and he is just like they don't have a physical relationship, they are not a romantic couple, and yet he's there for her. Like, I'm on book 3 and he's there for her through a lot, and he's awesome. He's cinnamon roll, best friend, all the things I love. Next is newest favorite character. So I'm going to say another kid's character because otherwise I had a really hard time thinking. But Goonie Bird Green from the Goonie Bird Green series by Lois Lowry, she is my all-time favorite because she is eccentric. She like walks in and girlfriend owns the room. She like is a new kid and like comes in and even like awes her teacher to the point that she's like doing story time for her class every day or week or whatever. And she uses like good vocab words. Like, I just love her. She's awesome. So Goonie Bird from Goonie Bird Green. Next is Book That Made You Cry. So I'm going to say Good Inside, A Guide to Becoming the Parent You Want to Be by Becky Kennedy. This is another 5-star for me that definitely could be a favorite of the year. And it is so good. And it's just a whole different way of thinking about parenting it says like don't focus on the behavior, instead focus on the unmet need, and the way to do it is by examining yourself and like what unmet needs you have and how it's okay that you as a parent have needs too, and like it causes you to think through some of your childhood and stuff, and not in like a laying on the couch at the shrink kind of way, but it just causes a lot of self-reflection, and it just, for me, it reminds me that like what a gift motherhood is and how perfect my little kids are. And even though they're exhausting and even though there's a lot of behaviors I would love to change, that they are good inside, and I am good inside even when I mess up and do things that aren't what I want to do. It is so good. And like, I didn't actually cry. I don't think I actually shed tears, but like it definitely makes me like love my kids more and give myself and them so much more grace. And it's a great read. I could also say that Smaller Sister, that one was really like hard hitting. Next is a book that made you happy. And I'm going to say The Read Aloud Family by Sarah Mackenzie, just because it is a reader's book. It is a book for readers. Even if you have like one kid or no kids or whatever, it just like motivated me to read and talked about how awesome books are and the importance of books, but in a way that gives, again, a lot of grace to do whatever you can do. It's like a book's a way of sharing stories and sharing time and sharing thoughts and ideas. And it's like, there's just so many ways to love a book and be a reader, and it's so good. Next is a favorite book to film adaptation you've seen this year. Y'all, I haven't seen a movie in 6 years. I mean, I don't have the attention span for movies. In fact, just the other day, my friend was like, hey, did you know that there's a new Paw Patrol movie coming out? Do you guys want to go see it? And I was like, no, because only one of us has the attention span for a movie, and it's my 5-year-old. Like, the rest of us have no time for that. My 3-year-old is exactly like I am, and she cannot sit still through a movie. I don't like movies. Like, we've had Frozen on probably 25 times in this house, and yet I still can't tell you the plot because I just can't. I don't enjoy movies. And I'm a parent of 3 little children, so I just don't have a lot of time for movies. So I would always choose to read over watching a movie or show, so I have not seen any adaptations. Next is most beautiful book you've bought so far or received. So I'm going to say this True Love Experiment by Christina Lauren. I just love this cover. I love the fonts. I love the fireworks. I just love this cover, and I have not read this yet. I did just read The Soulmate Equation and didn't love it, spoiler alert, but I'm hoping this one will be better. So yeah, great cover regardless. And then last is what books do you need to read by the end of the year? All of them. I would show you my shelves, but they're madness. So all of them. That's my answer. So let me know what your answers are to these questions. I will leave them down below, and let me know. I'm really interested in the biggest surprise and best book you've read so far. So let me know, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.